If you are building a new website, you have to watch this video. In this video, I'm going to take you through what SEOs are really doing when they build an effective information architecture. This is properly creating a structure for your brand, mapping out categories, mapping out how your different pages are going to interact or interlink in SEO terms. This is super important for anyone building a new website, or potentially if you're updating and auditing your current website. Okay, if that's why we're watching this video, what exactly are we going to be going into? Well, in this video, I'm going to show you a pretty detailed process on how we do keyword research, keyword clustering, and how we categorize different silos for a website. Understanding, of course, that there are brand considerations and general CRO and conversion considerations, but there's a lot that can go into the exact structure of these websites so that you are optimally telling Google exactly what it needs to know, giving the right priority to the right pages and the right categories so that Google can semantically link these topics to your brand. All right, let's hop in and do a little screen share. All right, so here I'm gonna show you some common IA problems that we come across. I'm gonna show you some examples that we go through. I'll give you a little walkthrough of a brand IA that we've built, as well as some like fun, interesting use cases that you can kind of take away from this video. All right, so what are we talking about when we talk about an IA? We're talking about the structure of a website. So here is an example. You can have different like categories, different subcategories, and then how these all tie together in either a blog or in like service and product pages. Okay, so this is all built by looking at keyword research, categorizing these keywords based on search count and search volume, and building a strategic roadmap for your website so that you can rank not only for subterms, but for higher intent, higher volume terms. We have seen huge successes from migrating websites to new information architectures. Lots of things. You can also integrate many of your best practices into these, but at the same time, we've seen sites more than double just by doing a migration to a new information architecture. RestoHub actually changed platforms and did a migration to a new IA, and there were some huge results with a 125% increase in just 1 month, and that was a structure concern. Here I could show you a little example. This is an e-commerce site, Bold by Nature. They have their separation by the type of animal, cat and dog food, and they also have the types of food. So if you click down into pet food / dogs, mega dog raw food, this is a specific product which lives under, of course, pet food / dogs. So having that, it's easy to navigate, and it also tells Google that this product lives under this product. You want to make it as easy as possible for not only Google to crawl it, but of course your user to navigate it. Now here we have a blog post. Now these can be a little bit different. There's lots of different strategies here, and typically unless you have some specific categorical organization of your blog, this could be a little more flat because you want these topics to have the same authority as some other topics. These blog posts can all be just under blog unless you have a specific strategy, which happens sometimes. You can roll out a different taxonomy. I have no idea why my camera turned off, but keep going. So here's another example where we have a travel site, which has the changingtravels.com / destinations, Europe, Portugal. It's very clearly deep linked in a proper strategic way, and then you can go into different areas like best time to visit and whatnot, so you can see this content is all very well organized. Same thing with Hayes and Jarvis over here. You have different destinations, you have different holiday types. These all interlink so that users can easily navigate between them, and they're properly speaking to Google how they can crawl down into destinations or across holiday types. This is all the kind of stuff that's super important. Next, we're going to go into how keyword research came into play here. Okay, so you want your site to drive traffic overall, and that is where building these categories based upon search volume, looking at the overall count of the keywords that you're targeting in each category and how much search volume is associated to it, so you can find out a total opportunity that you can target by building these categories and building these sub pages out. So I'll just kind of reiterate some of these common IA problems that we have. So one, stacking everything under the blog. We've worked with clients before who have all these like service level and solution level pages sitting on their blog slash the solution. That's a big problem, and it needs to have a proper structure. So it needs to be moved over to the website. Too much deep linking, so you go way too far down and you have a super long categorized URL structure, and it doesn't give keywords the depth they need. Having everything flat, so the opposite problem, where in this case, you're really every page has the same importance in Google's eyes, and it's just weird to navigate. So not categorizing or organizing. So if you have you don't have proper categories where your pages make sense to be within the same URL structure. No keyword strategy. So of course, not even doing the keyword research. And finally, using really poorly identified URLs and naming, like just having a bunch of random numbers or auto-generated URLs in there. It's not really great for user experience or Google. Okay, so why is it important to have an SEO build your IA? Of course, on top of all the things I just talked about, they're able to do the keyword research. So properly find what keywords to go after, download them, and then categorize them and group them properly. Not only in a way that makes sense from a content organization perspective, but also from a way that Google can recognize these as semantic topics together and then structure it and interlink it properly, whether it's the hub and spoke or just a custom interlinking strategy. There's lots of ways where you can also speak to these pages' importance through interlinking rather than just structure, right? So getting an SEO to build this out for you is absolutely going to do wonders for your website and really help increase your organic traffic. As a little bonus, I'll show you something here. So IA is super important, but also something to think about is what's the content. So you look at neilpatel.com. He's obviously a huge name in the space. He's really built up the track of his brand to huge numbers. And you see him as a source of marketing tips and marketing advice in the blog and all this good stuff. So you can see here on an old website, Neil used to have how to generate a certain amount of visitors. You want to grow your business with Neil, teach me. So of course, structure is important, but content and your brand can really tie into how Google's perceiving your site. So even though this was on his homepage, this was letting Google think that he was a teacher and he was really just selling a webinar. So yes, I want you to teach my business. He wasn't being seen by Google as a resource for marketing tips and advice. It was very curated. So they kind of saw him as something else. So as important it is to have your overall information architecture built by an SEO, it's also a good idea to strategically position your content, because just that change alone started a huge amount of growth, and Neil has grown exponentially since from a lot of new efforts. Okay, so any one of our audits has an IA analysis built into it. So we've seen some great results, as I mentioned, whether it's building from scratch and building an IA right from conception of the brand, or reorganizing a brand to help them build out their solution service pages, or potentially, in this case here, doing a migration and changing their whole structure in one go. Or finally, we're saying, hey, here's a new category. We're going to introduce a whole new silo of keywords that we can go after, adding that in to help a brand grow. So there's lots of different ways that you can succeed by implementing a new IA. All right, that's it for going over the importance of an IA from an SEO perspective and having an SEO build that IA. I hope this helps you in your next step for your website. If you have any questions at all, please feel free to reach out. We're happy to answer them. And also, if you want someone to help you build out your IA, Nav43 has a great team who obviously can help you build it. So, bye for now.